3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the creek.
Welcome to
Grounds After Rounds.
Is it cold in here? We're bundled up to get your hat on. It is brisk. My hands are cold.
I don't know. I don't think I've turned the heat on.
My hands. So much of my hands.
Actually, they're not that cold.
Oh,
No, you're good.
they feel cold.
It was cold. It's not cold out per se. I think the humidity is kind of high. So
Right?
It's kind of that like mid-Atlantic. It's like never gets that cold. It just gets into your bones.
Once it's in your bones, you're done. That's how I was coaching it with that door open all last year.
Yes. And so
like it's as soon as that's why we had the little heater in the back.
Yeah, the running today's Monday, though you're listening to it on Friday.
Mhm.
So we're in our time machine again.
Yeah.
The deadlift running workout, which I love deadlifts and running.
Oh, this is one of those ones that's like Jack was foaming at the mouth when he saw this one.
So I looked at this one, and this will be a great preview of the conversation to come. It was a great opportunity for me to see how I'm doing with my running when fatigued or when other stuff. So I try to only run maybe at most once or twice a week. And I've got all the dog walking and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I have enough
Keep the feeling of the
locomotion.
ground underneath you, but take out
Yes.
the wear and tear of the
Correct.
ground and
My
pound.
knees do not need to run that much. My fitness is not improved at the expense of my already worn knees and hips and ankle joints. And so for longevity purposes, I choose the Echo Bike, or
He said Echo Bike. Did you hear that, guys?
Yeah.
Instead of running Echo Bike, it's just as versatile.
it's actually more versatile, and I would say models the cardiovascular load that running imposes upon us. The C2 bike is a fine option from time to time, but when modifying and scaling, we like to come at things from multiple angles. Anyway, don't worry, because we have a new toy on its way for you all. So for those of you that run from the Echo Bike in fear because of the fan and it's so cold up there, just go faster.
That's not what Bob sounds like.
It's just so cold on there.
That's what there's Bob. I think it's Mary. Mary talks about the cold more than anyone.
The funny thing is, if we put that, they sell the guard. If we put the guard on there, then people would complain like, "Oh, I hit my knee on it when I get on. It's in the way." Or in the summertime, can you take the guard off? I can't feel the fan on my face anymore. There's always something, man. There's always something.
We do love all of you.
That's the beauty. I mean, I always joke. I always think Brooks Werdeman, for those who have been around this game for a while, used to work at CrossFit Annapolis when it was Annapolis, and he would always talk about how when you have built a strong relationship with somebody when they are willing and have enough comfort with you to show you who they really are. And so he would always think of like his wife at the time, who ironically didn't eventually got divorced, but whatever. I don't think this was the reason why. She would make tea. She would make like a cup of tea or whatever, and then leave the tea bag on the counter.
I mean, garbage water. She would make
garbage water. Yeah. That is probably still one of the funniest things about Ted Lasso is when he just the bubbly water and the tea.
That's not to get off track. But the first time he mentioned that in the show, I was like, "Oh my god, it's not just me! Like this is the thing. People think tea is garbage water. I can't stand tea."
I only have an emotional connection to tea.
Yeah, I remember. I think we've had this combo. Yeah,
but otherwise, yes, it is garbage water.
Yeah,
brown garbage water. But she would leave the tea bag on the counter, and it would drive him insane. And then he was like, "Okay, how do I do this? What's my mental gymnastics?" And he'd be like, "Oh." When he'd walk in, I forget what her name was, he'd see the tea bag on the counter and he'd just be like, And they were going like 1,000 miles an hour each other. So they were never around each other. And so it was an opportunity for him to be in the same space that she had been in, and to remember that was the whole point of being in a relationship together, was to be together. And so if he couldn't have physically been there with her, he was at least in the same place that she had been. And the tea bag was the proof that she had been there, and it would make him smile, and he would pick it up, throw it in the garbage, wipe it down, and just be like, I just got to have a glimpse or at least a little taste of the person I love the most in this world. And I was like, that's really fucking good.
Yeah.
So that aspect of like, that's how you get around, or at least that's how you de-vilify
The thing that you feel like is such
exactly. So when we make fun, there is nothing. What else would we do? I mean, I love the fact that I start to know what certain athletes' habits are, of like who doesn't put the 10s, together, who stacks all the 15s together with all the 15s, like those sorts of things. Who I know Roger likes his certain square. Like I love that he likes it. It drives me nuts, and I want him to be able to be wherever.
Yeah.
But I also love that he loves his square. And I'm like, I can support that, because that means we've developed a strong enough and deep enough relationship. And we know that, because there are certain things, I'm sure, not me, I'm perfect.
Of course. Did we not mention that, guys, in case you forgot,
Yeah.
Jack is perfecto.
But that's the reality of the messiness of human interaction, that
In relationships,
I've only been at it for about 5 years now. Before this, I just would leave you. I mean, if you bothered me, and I'd be like, all right, see ya. I'd cut you off from my life, and we go dark.
Meg calls it, she said she can tell now Everett too, when they've been in a room and there's like something out of place. Like Everett does this thing now, he sees, when he uses his potty, like, well, first thing in the morning, we'll set him on his potty and just get him used to doing that. Remember we did it with Fia, and it worked great. And then when it's done, we dump it in the toilet. Well, we'll go in the bathroom sometimes and we'll see his toilet is in our toilet. So his baby is in our potty.
That's what he's trying.
Because he sees us do that. He's like, oh, that's where
awesome.
that goes. And she calls them vignettes. So she calls them vignettes, because she's like, I know Everett's been here. I know Fiona's been here.
Yeah,
right?
she imagines what the vignette was.
Like what she pictures, like what was Fiona doing, or what was Everett doing in this moment. So when they're not there, but there's this little reminder that they are here.
There
she
you
calls
go.
them vignettes.
I like
that's
it.
a sweet way of looking at it.
Yep, it's the sweet vignettes of the ones we love the most.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That's a little Brooks Meg combo.
Right?
Yeah,
She's
well
so
done,
mindful.
Meg.
Sometimes I'm like, God, you're so good at this thing.
Really well done. Yes.
While I'm like, some days like crying in the corner, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I know I can't do this for 10, 20, 40 more years. I can't even do it for 5 more minutes.
Oh my God. Yeah. So vignettes, little vignettes of those in our lives. So,
and then they turn 15 and 17, and they still do it, but in different ways. So Matthew, were you down here yesterday at all? Did you have?
I was here in the morning
with the weightlifters, or was it something? So you saw probably the kayaks were gone. Maybe you noticed the kayaks were gone.
I didn't even notice.
So Matt and Josh staged the kayaks Saturday, and they came down here and they went out on the water for like 6 hours yesterday.
Nice.
Up and down Back Creek, up and down Spa Creek, out into the bay, all over.
I didn't notice that.
And then when they came back about 2-ish, 1-ish, 2-ish, they left the kayaks to dry, and they went to the outlets with Andrew and the neighborhood crew, and then they came back, and then they put the kayaks up and then rode their bikes home. Well, there was like the Saturday, can we get the kayaks down? But he asked much better than that. But I was like, dude, no, like I just finished the day, you know what I mean? And I had just gotten under a blanket.
Yeah.
And I was like I had just got the phone plugged in and had a thing
you officially just shut it
like
down.
I had just gotten to that point of like the kitchen was clean, everything was done, and then Matt down. Hey, that kayak that's in the gym, how do I get that down, or could I get that down tomorrow?
Was the one
morning?
here, the one on the
Both. They used 2. They got the one down from up here, and then they got the one down from up above the bathroom. Nicole totally sensed it. She took them over. They got it down, the 3. Like they did great. But I was that like little bit of like, and then he called again, same exact thing. I just finished making dinner. I was just waiting for everyone to kind of get back, and then we were all going to eat Sunday dinner, and the phone rings. Hey, so my bike tire is flat, but
we were just talking about,
but it's all fine. It was just, I was like, yeah, I'll come get you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's the rest of the day, they did everything on their own with like little check-ins of like I put it in air quotes, little annoyances of like interrupting my flow of what I was doing, but only because I wasn't expecting, because they're so good 99% of the time.
Yeah.
The one time they need help with something or whatever, it quote unquote interrupts
Right.
my thing. And I was like, no, this is awesome. Like a little reminder of just how effing awesome they are.
Yeah.
And so that was, I was like, hell yeah, I'll come do it. Now the bike tire thing did become like 1,000 little, not even 1,000, it was like 5 little things. Cause then he was like, well, and I had bought extra tubes because I knew he was gonna probably pop another tire. And he's like, well, can I take it off? I'm like, you've changed a tire before. He's like, well, no. And I'm like, all right, we'll try and figure it out. So he figures it out and he comes in and it's a mess. And I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. I'll just come do it. And so I did it and I'm smiling, I laughed or whatever. And then he came back and he's like, so I can't deflate it because there's a part sticking out, whatever. And I'm like, he's just, at that point, I'm like, nope, he's got to figure this part out. So they figured it out and stuff. And then, it was all great. And then he came in and I'm like, dinner's ready. He's like, oh, I'm going ice skating. I'm like, good Lord, kid. Meanwhile, Josh ate, got a little warm. And then he left too, like 5 minutes later. These boys never stop moving, man.
No.
Never stop moving.
That's gonna be Fee. That's gonna be Fee in and out. Like you can already see it.
But yes, thank goodness it never ends.
Yeah.
Like that I think is the testament that you're doing it correctly, maybe, or at least partially correctly.
Yeah.
That they feel comfortable to keep asking for help.
Yeah.
But also when they get to a point that they've already tried like 6 different things and they just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's always my, like, I don't want to hear, oh, I can't find the, and I'm like, have you even looked yet? It's hey, I went downstairs, I looked for such and such. I looked wherever they usually are, but I can't find it. What's going on? And I'm like, oh crap, I moved it. I'm sorry. Or nah, that's not, remember, that's not where we keep it. Like whatever, so it's always, we've all learned together how to like navigate.
Thank goodness we're in the same house too.
Yeah. And so, anyway, we'll love fest on my kids.
Yeah.
Our kids, the vignettes.
Yeah.
Good call, Meg. I like that. The vignettes.
She does all right.
I like that word.
It's a nice word. I like the way it flows.
Spanish, right? Spanish and Greek, Russian, Greek,
Swahili.
I think French.
That seems French. Felt French. So
Mozellon with no clothes on. That's the only French I
know. So we were on before we went down that. It was the testing your knees.
Testing my knees with running and deadlifts. Is that important, Eric? What would you call that if I were to reestablish some sort of baseline mark of fitness? What would you call that in your CrossFittedness training methodology? It's like HIIT. It's like a HIIT program.
Yeah,
CrossFit.
Yeah,
it's like
kind of like a boot camp. Okay. Yeah, I would call that a box check. I would call that a box check.
A box check.
Checking off the box for that thing that we're supposed to do.
A benchmark.
Benchmark.
That's
what it was.
Benchmark. Box bench.
Box.
Bench box.
Are we benching?
Are we boxing?
Do you want to
kickboxing?
You want to call it? Pause it and just go bench.
We're gonna go bench.
We're gonna go bench.
How much you bench?
How much you bench?
New name is.
So benchmark. So
weightlifting, adios. We're no longer weightlifting here at CrossFit, Fairwinds CrossFit. No more weightlifting.
Oh, except for
we just lost like 40% of our membership.
I think we lost half when we said boot camp, and then the rest.
Of course, we'll keep weightlifting, but the focus
is them benchmarks.
Is the benchmark.
The benchmarks.
Month. So we're gonna do all the girls: Grace, Helen, Nancy.
All of them. There's so many that we have to do. We have to do 3 a day. We have to do 3 a day.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Fight Gone Bad every week.
What was it? Again, there was a workout. Juliana was down in, where was she? She was down in Florida this week, and the gym she went to did a workout called
the Turkey Killer or something.
Dinner with the Girls.
Oh, I like that.
So Angie's house, 40 pull-ups, 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, 40 squats.
That's smart.
And then on to Helen's house.
Okay.
800-meter run, 42 kettlebell swings, 24 pull-ups.
So 2 rounds mashed together as one. Okay.
Yeah. Fran's house, 30 thrusters.
No pull-ups?
No, because you still have pull-ups the last round.
Oh, nice. That would have been like if they'd been like Fran's back porch or something, because you're like transitioning with the thrusters, which I'm sure then is there a move here. Now we go to something else.
Nancy's house,
Okay.
800-meter run. So one time through, 800-meter run, 30 overhead squats.
So you just combine, so similar.
Combine a
So
couple
right, it's on
rounds.
the way in a couple things with the run at Helen, and then the Fran is like
Yeah.
a transition single modality.
Yep.
And now it's back to kind
Yep.
of mash up with Nancy's, and then what else?
So after
The consistency of calling them house is kind of cool too, though.
Yeah.
This
And
is
it's
really cool.
well, it's funny too, because you see how, like, think about, you're going to multiple Thanksgiving. You're
You're
eating a little bit less as you go,
at
right?
each one. Yeah. This is
and
actually really cool.
it's really cool. So Fran's house, 30 thrusters, 95-65. Nancy's house, the 800-meter run with 30 overhead squats,
So you
95-65.
don't have to change the barbell. Smart.
Grace and Isabel's house, 40 ground to overhead at 95-65.
So again, you don't have to change the
Don't
bar,
have to
but
change the
it's a
bar.
combo.
Yeah.
So it's the two of them living together now, Grace
Yeah.
and Isabel.
Yeah.
That's a good call. I could see them. They
Good old Grisabel. Is that their
divorce
celebrity
their
name?
divorce their shitty husbands, decide that they, actually love each other. and
We
wanna
were the
live
one.
together.
We're the companions. We're the ones that are meant to be together. So yeah, Grisabel's house, and then finishes off with Kelly's house. 800-meter run, 60 box jumps, 60 wall balls.
Oh
What
God, Kelly's, is that just like all
That's-
desserts?
That's yeah.
God, Kelly.
That's how you feel.
Eat
after
some
eating all
protein for
desserts.
God's sakes.
But people could the warm up 200-meter row.
And that's it. And then just 3, 2, 1,
It
go.
says warm up, and then there's the one. Warm up 200 row, and then the one.
That's great. I mean, you
Um,
would almost have to use the first up through Helen's house to
Yeah.
warm up.
She said,
That's a great freaking day. And
This is
that was on Thanksgiving Day or on Friday.
this was I think she said this was on. Was this Thanksgiving? What day was that?
Show me that picture. I'm gonna put that as a reminder for next year to maybe
Right.
like be Fridays or
Oh yeah,
Saturdays.
this was on Thanksgiving. And then yeah, so I think she said she did it with a partner. You had the option to do it a partner.
Just makes sense. Smart.
Then there was some, but the name of the gym is CrossFit Dark Zone. And I said that WOD is fitting of
Yeah.
that gym name,
Oh,
deservedly so. Well done, CrossFit
that
Dark
I mean,
Zone.
that's a great that's a mashup and it's fun. But I mean, that's like circa 2009, 2010 when
Yeah.
CrossFit was still really dumb.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
CrossFit.com was not dumb. They would never program something like that.
Right.
But those of us that did it and thought like, oh yeah, more is better. And
Yeah,
but I'm hoping and I'm assuming because she's still alive,
yeah.
probably a really good
She
gym
did all right.
who scaled it and modified it effectively. The fact that they're already telling people do this with a partner,
Yeah.
very good call.
Yeah.
Like that is just the structure is really cool. The concept with the houses is really funny.
Yeah.
Hell of a workout. How did we get there? Benchmarks. The
Benchmarks.
girl benchmarks.
So
doing
benchmarks.
that many girls in an attempt to test your fitness, or let me rephrase that, in an attempt to benchmark your fitness,
Mhm.
probably not an effective methodology for benchmarking where you currently are.
Yeah.
The girls, as written and as originally published, the original 8 and then the additional 6, I think, that came
Yeah.
out in the second article, were never intended to be training workouts.
Mhm.
And he actually writes that, and he says in the article, if you did want to use these as a training, you would modify it like this, do it as like a 5 rounds for time with 1 minute rest between type of thing. If you're doing Nancy, or, reduce the weight and do it as unbroken. And then
Yeah.
until you can build up, sprinkle it in one from the benchmark girl workouts, as they were called, benchmarks, were tests of the methodology. That if I do Fran in December, test or do 4 to 5 times a week,
45 times.
for
a week?
5 times a
Oh,
week,
okay. I was like, I'm
uh,
way behind.
functional fitness, high intensity, eat my meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, little starch, no sugar,
Coffee PRs.
coffee, yeah, all that for the next 6 months. And I retest Fran as I did it in December. I retest it in May, and I do better. Then I can say with some sort of assuredness, and I have not done Fran since then,
Mhm.
that my methodology works to improve my work capacity across broad, modal, and time domains. That's all.
Yeah.
Benchmarking can be accomplished with a multitude of things that are not named workouts.
Mhm.
You told me, looking back, and I wasn't really paying attention, how when we came in with Kat, we've had a series of focuses. Focuses.
Focaccia.
Ooh,
It's a bread.
I like focaccia bread. I go for a little turkey. Come back on the wagon, no more turkey.
Well, I think it was,
Except in my chili.
we were given a series of, no, that's not it. Focuses.
Focuses. What were those?
So we came in September. The focus in September was metabolic conditioning.
Oh,
Yeah, metabolic conditioning. There you go. Cardiorespiratory endurance, metabolic conditioning. And then October, we went into gymnastics. Remember that nice little gymnastics. And then this previous month, November, as we stated before, weightlifting. Yeah, look at that.
So we had like 3 layers to like a pyramid with the conditioning, metabolic conditioning, kind of nice and broad at the bottom, which supports the gymnastics foundation.
It's much more focused skill.
Which then supports a moving an external load through sort of some sort of kinesthetic awareness.
There you go.
Which all manifests in the top of a pyramid of sport. Oh, interesting.
So this month we're going to form a kickball league. And we're going to put all of our fitness to it.
Kickball and dodgeball mashed together.
Yes, there you go.
The balls must be kicked at your face and you must dodge them.
You can dodge a wrench.
So this now, the benchmarks are taking everything that we've done for the last 3 months and seeing where we fall out when we mash them together in some sort of CrossFit-y manifestation of this sport of fitness.
And in that, and then over those 2 months, like we've had benchmarks here and there, like we've had, and I think hero wads can sometimes be looked at as benchmarks if you choose to or not. They were never meant to be like this. I think Murph is the one that people use as a benchmark for their fitness.
Maxton was a great one that like, could you go longer than 40 to 45 minutes and hold a steady pace, even though you don't want to. Like we said, there was no real gain in any of our fitness doing Maxton, but it really did establish like, oh no, I could keep doing this. It's just uncomfortable. So it was more of a mental like, can I hang in here? And, and that was a good. Hollyman was right at about the right time. People were in the right 28 to 30-ish time zone. And again, that one was more sort of like Mary. Oh my God, not Cindy. And not Mary, it's Chelsea. Chelsea rounds of Cindy, the 5, 10, 15 for 30 minutes.
30 minutes on the
like the idea on that is you are finding what is your endurance threshold for these movements, even not at fatigue, but at like your actual muscle fatigue failure threshold. How long do you have to reset and then go again?
It was almost a great I feel like that was almost a great one too, where people, depending on the weight they used or the push up for Hollyman. And even, I mean, the clean, it was one clean, but it was, it was one clean, right? 5, 3, 1. If anything, people found like, oh, like handstand push-ups, like, oh, well, I can always do at least 3, it seems like, with these other things mixed in. And so, it was a great way to, it's not like the intended benchmark as these girls are, but there are things found within them.
So the reason we bring this up, the fact that is that we may not see a whole lot of, we don't know what next week is, but we do know what this week is. And we know what you just experienced this week. And so we are going to go through and look at each of these workouts across Monday through Friday as what is the thing? Why were these picked and programmed this week as benchmarks in this idea of a benchmark focus for this month to kind of frame how athletes are looking at workouts this month to say, what am I supposed to be focusing on?
And each week, so like this week, the intended benchmarks are yesterday, Thursday, the snatches. So finding heavy snatch.
But I would argue,
but it's more of a heavy day, but it's because we're doing that. It's hard to say because it's a high rep, right?
But I would argue every single day this month can be used as some sort of benchmark.
No, I agree. And I'm saying on paper, here's your heavy find a single.
Oh, I got you.
And then Saturday, tomorrow being Nasty Girls version 2. So like on paper, these are the intended, but how can Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday also be a way to test that and use the whole month as it? So maybe you don't make Saturday and you don't get the Nasty Girls. You don't miss. Yes, you didn't do this named Nasty Girls obvious benchmark, but here's other ways that you can use this month to focus as a benchmark for your fitness.
So, and what I would say is a shameless plug for 2 things. I write about this a little bit on this last week's blog post. Well, I didn't make the snatch day. Your fitness is not a function of a single point,
Mhm.
data point. If it is, you're missing the entire concept of CrossFit. It is an aggregate of thousands, hundreds of thousands of data points across a consistently executed behavior or habits.
We should tell people to be consistent more.
Yes.
It's a thing we should
So if I miss the one snatch day this week, it's okay. There was at least 100 other things that you could have picked to focus on and benchmarked this week, which I would say try to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
So
Your FOMO is probably more like,
yes,
that's a bigger deal. And
Right,
like
and
working
so-
through that, then
and if it's like I want to focus on the snatch, well then okay, you're gonna probably have to give up on one of the other days this week, but I want to come on that day too. Okay, well you can't do it all.
Yeah.
And if you because what will happen is the end result of that is injury, overtraining, fatigue. You do it all, and then we don't see you for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
if you normally take Friday off and you came Monday through Thursday and Friday was that snatch day, and
exactly.
you want to focus on the snatch, you may not be thrilled with your result that Friday.
So if you read the blog post this week, that's kind of the concept.
What was
is
it called again?
Synchronicity.
Of fitness. Yeah.
And so
I had fun
my
saying
other
it.
my other
Synchronicity of
shameless
fitness. Synchronicity of fitness.
synchronicity.
Synchronicity of fitness.
is the mini camps, the open mini camps.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not competitive in the open. I don't care about it. Like, I get it totally. That's not for me. Yes, it is. Because
You're
the
gonna do it.
idea of what we're doing at the mini camps, yes, the byproduct is hopefully you feel, if you decide to come and do it,
Mhm.
you feel better at the end of those 6 sessions in preparation for the upcoming open.
Right.
But we're going to talk about how we use the day in and day out methodology of CrossFit to improve not only our fitness, but the use of that fitness in a or with a competitive mindset. And when I mean competitive mindset, it's not competitive against like the other person next to you. It's if I look at this workout today on Monday,
Mhm.
the runs and the deadlifts. Ted asked a great question. He said, well, what's the focus here? Is it the run or the deadlift? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
That's the beauty of CrossFit is you could be a 500-pound deadlifter,
Mhm.
but run a 18-minute mile.
Yeah.
You're not fit.
Yeah.
In the
There's something-
definition
there's
of
something
fitness,
lacking there.
you have a glaring hole in the broadness of your fitness
Yeah.
capability. So therefore, yes, you'll be able to lift the tree up off of the person that is stuck under it, but you didn't get there in time and they were already dead when you arrived because you weren't fast enough to arrive. And you might be the fastest person in the gym, but when you get there, you can't deadlift 10 pounds. So again, you have a gigantic gaping hole. So the fitness idea, broad modes and time domains.
Mhm.
So I take the run and the deadlift. How do I attack that or tackle that with my analysis before the workout starts?
This is big where we talk about like,
is
here's the
mini-
stimulus.
This is
the
what
thing
the
we're
mini
looking for. Yeah.
camps start with, the foundation. And the first week, I'm titling it A Beautiful Mind, is that at the foundation of how to shift from just showing up and mindlessly listening to the coach and thinking like, oh yes, feed me, put me at the trough, open my mouth, pour the food down me, close my mouth, chew for me, digest and roll my stomach,
Fix
awesome,
my bike tire.
and then send me out onto the world. Like, no, at some point as a grown ass adult, you take agency of,
Mhm.
okay, what's the stimulus? The stimulus was 12 to 14 minutes.
Mhm.
Oh, well, to accomplish 12 to 14 minutes, I have a mile run and 57 deadlifts. So if a mile run takes me 10 minutes, I need to accomplish, that would be 2.5 minutes per 400.
Mhm.
I need to accomplish 57 deadlifts. Let's just round up to 60.
Yeah.
I need to accomplish that 60 deadlifts in 4 minutes. Well, how many seconds per rep per deadlift would I need to do to finish it in 4 minutes?
4
4
Yeah.
seconds
I
per
was like,
rep.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want everybody, the next time you come into the gym, do 4 seconds a rep for deadlift for 10 reps. Take you 40 seconds. That is really, really slow.
Yeah.
Most likely what you'll do is you'll do 2 seconds a rep, and then you have to figure out, oh, there's this whole thing called rests and transitions.
Yeah.
This is where we start to focus on, How do I simplify? How fast do I need to move to be able to sustain that movement when the fatigue starts setting in?
Mhm.
And it's not rocket science, but it does start to get complicated in the what do I focus on? Oh my God, I can't do muscle ups. How did it blah, 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 blah. And the complexity becomes more about a function of you and your emotional tag to all of this crap, rather than, no, we're running and we're deadlifting. Because now all of a sudden I'm adding like, oh, well, my knees hurt, so I don't want to run. What else should I do? Oh, I can't do 225, 155-pound deadlifts. What should I do? Oh, you told me I can only do 3 sets in the 21, but I can't do 7 unbroken deadlifts. And then it's like, oh my God, all this other come up. Like, whoa. Let's go back to the beginning. We just need to know, how fast do I have to do each rep to hit my stimulus? Then the question is, what's the first thing I need to answer to be able to go that fast?
Right.
What's the next thing I need to be able to answer to be able to keep going that fast? What's the next thing I need to be able to answer to be able to go just one thing at a time? That's what benchmarks serve.
There you go.
So I'll come back to Ted again. Great example on this deadlift and run workout. He wanted to focus on his runs. We said, great. Entering argument was 15 minutes. You want to be at the 15-minute mark. So we go through the warm up, whatever. He looks at me, he goes, I don't think I'm going to be able to go 225. So he scales the weight, perfect move. That dude can deadlift like 600 pounds. 185 on the bar is not a hard weight for him.
No.
It is when he does 400-meter runs.
Mhm.
He was to singles by the time he was done.
There you go.
So so here's the deal though. He wanted to focus on the run.
Mhm.
So he did. It cost him the deadlifts.
Yeah.
So his benchmark coming out of a work as an athlete, and thank you, Ted, for letting me use you as my athlete today, as the example, the benchmark he came away with was, he's not quite where he wants to be for his cardiorespiratory fitness. He is for his strength.
Right.
Great. Next time a run or a bike or a row comes into the workout, he knows he's going to need to go a little bit lighter, so that he can keep moving well. Does that make sense, folks?
It makes sense to me.
That's
Exactly.
a benchmark, but it's just that we may never do 400-meter runs and 21, 15, 12, 9 deadlifts again.
No.
That doesn't mean it's not a benchmark. It means we just won't repeat it.
Right.
But he can observe and measure off of that benchmark where he is for runs and deadlifts for right now.
And if anything, just that combination of like runs and deadlifts, weightlifting, and a longer, like that could have been runs and burpees. No
Right.
paces burpees. That could have been
Deadlifts and box jumps.
Deadlifts and box jumps.
Deadlifts and burpees over the bar.
Yeah. Think of something that takes a little bit longer, but it's constant movement, not necessarily monostructural run row, but something where it's like, I need to pace this and I need to be smarter about this. And so,
and couplets are a beautiful thing to benchmark with, because you may be great at one and you may suck at the other.
Yeah.
You may suck at both. You may be awesome at both, but when they interfere, it's that nexus of the interference that you don't know what actually is going to happen until you do it. And this is the statement: we fail at the margins of our experience.
Truth.
That is not mine. That is Greg Glassman's, but that's why.
Runs.
No, it was Greg Glassman's. But that's why we pay attention to, I can run and deadlift, but deadlift and box jumps, smokes me. So is it the deadlifts or is it the box jumps or is it the combination of the two? You don't know. Move to Tuesdays, the thruster EMOM.
Yes.
You so expertly recognized it immediately. What'd you call it?
A death by.
Death by. You know what death bys are perfect for? Establishing top end capacity of a single movement. Death by burpees, death by box jumps, death by pull-ups, death by thrusters is basically what we're did on Tuesday. Increasing weight, bucketed or bracketed by a non-negotiable time domain. At some point, thou shalt meet either thou's cardiovascular respiratory capacity or thou's strength capacity. And there will be a point where those two cause each other to fail. This is also what in the mini camps we'll go over a little bit, is there are things for low skill, high capacity, burpees, monostructural, things you're really good at, right? Things that are low skill, meaning, anybody can do them, right? There's medium skill, medium capacity, high skill, low capacity, right? And that's a very broad framework. Thrusters, Low skill, high capacity. We start light. You do 25 reps.
Yeah.
We go to a
5
light
minute,
medium.
yeah.
We go to a medium. We go to a medium plus. All of a sudden, it's not the weight that got hard. It's the fact that you no longer have enough time to recover to be able to lift that medium weight.
Yeah.
So you might say, I got a 185-pound 5-rep thruster.
Cool.
I only got to 115. So it's like, yeah, you're a really strong person.
But those lungs are burning, aren't they?
You got it. And so that's where a death by tells you what is your fitness capacity high end. For now training purposes, you have a benchmark that you could then back off and say you should probably never train more than about 70%.
Yeah.
And when you get really good at that, then just bump it up.
You'll see it.
And then just bump it up. And then next time something comes out that feels sort of benchmarky, test it. And you've improved.
I think this one Tuesday too will be a great, like, if we see thrusters in the workout, if we see thrusters in the open.
I mean, we never really see thrusters in the open,
This
so
will
we
give you-
probably won't see them.
This will give you a clear picture, kind of we were talking about with was it Maxton? But like if you see thrusters in the open, what is that weight / set that you can hit consistently? Because you may get to, like, I don't know, 85 pounds and like 5, okay, 5, 5, okay, like it's kicking me, but I'm moving it, it's heavier, awesome.
Could I turn around and do double unders after that?
Right.
Could I turn around and do pull-ups after that? Could I turn around and row after that?
Right.
And be like, yeah, I could. It's gonna hurt, but I could hold this for 8 to 10 minute time.
And then what is it, 10-pound jumps or 20-pound jumps?
Guys is 20,
20.
Women is 10.
So let's say you're doing 85, let's say your guy 85, and then you hit that 105, and now you're going like 3 and 2 and barely making that minute. Like that's a clear,
the end
like,
is
when
near, my friend, at that
Right.
point. It's the second you can't go unbroken on the 5s and have at least 40 to 45 seconds rest.
You're in trouble.
The end is coming quickly for you.
And that'll be perfect, like, come open season.
Yes.
And like open season, knowing like, okay, if the prescribed weight's 95, 65, I was able to hit 85. Like, it's now been a month, like maybe 95 is at 5s, maybe knowing 3s is where I need to be.
Exactly.
And so
and then
these are all,
this is then the conversation of how do I go a sub 3-minute Fran?
Right.
Well, you will never go a sub 3-minute Fran if you can't do the thrusters unbroken.
Yep.
That's sort of you can break up pull-ups. You can actually break up pull-ups a lot more than you think you can.
Yeah.
Because the second you drop, you turn, jump right back up. You put the thruster down, you just bought yourself 10 to 15 seconds.
Easy.
And so that's one of the tricks of, like, oh, as a benchmark Fran, as a known workout, you could game it and get really good at Fran, or you could learn how to cycle thrusters better and pick and choose the movement that is your struggle. Pull-ups are sneaky because you're under load the whole time. You don't realize I just drop and I'm right back up. I just bought myself maybe 3 extra thrusters in a row to get through the round of 15 unbroken, to get to the round of 9. But you know what I mean? So like those are the little things that, like, as a benchmark, you learn what is the top end of your capacity. Wednesdays. What's
Wednesdays? That toes to ring. It's gonna be a fun one.
Oh, right. And we'll probably I'm gonna just have people do. I actually meant to change that to toes to bar.
I like the toes to ring are fun though. But we're limited.
I was about to say that you figure out how to logistically.
I'm happy to say,
set
like,
that
we
up.
have 3 sets of rings. You guys are welcome to try them out, but you may have to fight for it.
So here's my take on that, and I haven't watched their video or their explanation of it. And again, people are listening to this; it's already happened, so they probably already heard the spiel. They feel sort of they facilitate having to be a really good kip, because you've got to really open up into the arch and then really push down into the ring, or else it's going to start to swing like crazy. But if somebody doesn't have a steady kip on the bar yet, it makes no sense putting them on the rings for anything other than watching them struggle.
It's funny, but I feel like because it's not fixed, it allows them to move a little bit more to get their toes up. But you're like, they'll find a toes to ring before they find a toes to bar, but they won't find steady cyclical
Correct.
toes to ring.
So they didn't
Yeah.
actually, it's sort of like I can deadlift 485 once with a round back. You do not have a
Is that
480.
right now? 45?
You had no,
Oh.
you probably like
460
450,
something?
460, maybe lifetime, but
Yeah.
nah. You don't have a 485 pound deadlift.
Right.
Like that is not a training number that means anything.
Yeah.
So somebody might have a toe to ring, but there's no benefit to
Right.
it. And so that's sort of as a benchmark, and there's 12 of them and they're strict. So there is no,
like,
there's not supposed to be a kip.
Yeah, those rings aren't supposed to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where I would say for 99.9% of our
Anything allows their
athletes,
grip to do this, which helps. But like you said, it's a.
but again, that's
really,
also not a translatable.
No,
We want this.
that's what I'm saying. I think people will be able to get. They'll be able to get this and this. Like it's not gonna. That's why I said it's not a toes to bar.
Right. So it'll be fun to. I agree.
I think it'll be fun to play
Hang
with.
them, have 3 of them. We mess around with it. We play. But when it comes to the workout itself, this would actually be, since it's strict.
What was the other movement?
It's
push-ups and
it's rowing and push-up. So for this one, what I would look at is this is the day of the week where we're gonna mess around, but it's active recovery, or it's just sort of general fitness capacity. Treating the row and the push, you want to do the row at a pace that is 60 to 70% to allow unbroken push-ups for as long as possible.
Yes.
Because if you've facilitated some good push-ups, you could do 3 sets of 21 unbroken. The question is, coming off of that row, could you do it? And then the gymnastics strict toe to bar, do it on the ground. Use a PVC.
Say that row too. That's how much of a puller are you on the row as opposed to a driver through the legs?
Yeah.
Because how much are you using those arms when you get to those push-ups?
It's going to be, and it's a different movement. It's the push instead of a pull, but now all of a sudden, all the stuff you were using to pull, you're asking to do a push. And so you're going to fatigue a lot quicker. So that's that one, less of a benchmark, more of a opportunity to identify leakage in the efficiency of your movement that is going to show up in those toes to ring or whatever we use.
To wherever we go.
So as a benchmark framework or a benchmark filter, whatever we're looking, lens through which we're looking at this, it's a great workout. Who gives a crap what your score is? Who gives a crap what scalar modification you use? If you as an athlete establish some sort of new level of kinesthetic awareness where your movement falls apart, you just benchmarked a push, pull, hip hinge thing with this day, and you probably got a little bit fitter, you sweated a little bit, you had fun. That would be,
you got moving.
That's how do I look at this whole month through a benchmark lens? That would be the focus, is learn something new about the way it feels when you move well and when you move poorly.
Yeah, big time. We hit
That's
these last few in like sub 5.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. Snatches make sense. It's a muscle snatch, a power snatch, squat snatch, 5 by 1 on each of them. You're going to have a number.
This will be the one too that we'll probably find how it feels to move poorly when heavy, just as you were saying.
Right. If your muscle snatch is heavier than your squat snatch,
we got
you just found a good, go ahead.
I'll say there's some technique to work on. In which case, obviously come to class. Also, Sundays, 8:30, weightlifting.
There you go. Good plug. I like it. But it's perfect. It's the perfect day to see how dropping under the bar, like, yes, you can muscle snatch 105 pounds, but you can only squat snatch 85. I don't ever want you to be 105 pounds again. I don't ever want to see you lift 105 pounds over your head again until you can squat snatch 100 pounds. Do you know what? Like that, there's no benefit athletically, skill-wise, to keep the snatch.
Because that almost turns, what a lot of those will turn into is like, it'll be a snatch grip, kind of high press, right? Like it'll
stop doing it. It's a waste of your time.
No.
There's nothing gained by that.
No.
Until it comes to the open and it is for a competition. And then, okay, one time, like, sure, for that extra 3 pounds that gets you 10 extra spaces.
There's certain workouts and there's certain times in your training where just get the rep done.
Yeah, why not? But no, I would say never for training.
Not for training, but for like, I'm sorry, I apologize. For the open, maybe a benchmark.
Right.
Maybe a true benchmark.
All right. And then Fridays, again, similar to Wednesday in that it is the calorie bike, the box jumps, and the sit-ups.
Yeah.
21, 21, 21. So we're repeating
that rep scheme.
yeah, and you're doing it, you go, I go.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a automatic rest or work, rest. And you're trying to, I would say on that one, consistency across all 6 rounds. You want to be within 3 to 5 seconds. So now we're benchmarking. Can I find a 70 to 75% pace and hold that 70?
That rest should allow you to hold that.
And it's going to get a little bit harder each time,
Yeah.
but you do not want to see either a really, really fast time and then you bonk in rounds 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Nothing gained.
Nothing.
You don't want to see a really, really slow round and then a really, really fast round on the other end.
Are either of you on the Explore?
Maybe, but I don't think so because I disconnected. I was the last to be on it. I am. God, so dumb. Because you just turned it on. I turned it off.
I heard her talking dirty to it.
Yeah. Whoa. That's kind of funny. The faster we talk, the faster we'll get through.
Saturday.
Nasty Girls.
Nasty Girls V2.
So this is where I was talking about that you've got those low skill, high capacity.
Yeah.
This is 3 high skill, low capacity movements.
Yeah.
So rather than look at it like, I don't have pistols, I don't have muscle ups, and I cannot hang power clean those weights, no problem. And definitely not at those numbers.
Right.
It's okay.
In the time we're looking for.
What we want to do is find the very, very edge of your skill set, take a step back about 10%, and then try to do that at a challenging volume.
Yeah.
That's all. Like it is that's the idea of this one.
Record all of that because this is one you might see again.
Maybe. I don't. When did this one, was this a games one maybe?
I don't know.
Nasty Girls V2 version 2. I mean, Nasty Girls in itself is freaking hard enough.
Right. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that they
the volume of this is I mean, that's 150 pistols. That's a lot. That's 30 hang power cleans at a ridiculous weight. So this is sort of when CrossFit program for the best, scale for the rest.
Yeah.
There is not a single person in the gym that can do this workout RX. I could do this workout RX, but it's probably going to take me 35 to 40 minutes.
Way longer than it should.
Not appropriate.
Yeah, there's people that could do it RX, but not be where we need to be.
Correct. This is a 15 to 20 minute, 21 minute ish.
Yeah.
We want somewhere between 4 to 6 minutes around. So we're in that 12 to 18, maybe as long as 20, sweet spot in the 15 to 16 minute range. Again, I haven't read up. That's my guess.
I mean, it's one of those, if you look at the hang power cleans alone, ideally you want to do that, maybe not 10 in a row, but it should be something that like.
So can I tell you how I got there real quick?
Yeah.
So 67 reps per round. So if you go, anytime you look at something like this, it should be about 4 seconds a rep.
Right.
That's 280 seconds. So that's about 5 minutes a round. That's
there you
go. Your 15 minute.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And that, again, ladies and gentlemen, that is the foundation of reps per second. Removes all kinds of noise around. Well, I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, just assume you can do all the movements and assume you are a mid-level elite games athlete. When you look at a workout like that, how fast would a Danielle Brandon move through this workout? Well, she'd move at about 4 to 5 seconds a rep, and she would never stop moving. Takes her about 12 to 15 minutes for that workout as programmed.
Yeah.
Then we scale the rest of us from there.
Boom.
That's how you figure out a stimulus quickly.
Yeah.
Or you just say, hey, coach, what's my stimulus on this? And maybe over the next 5 to 10 years, you start to figure out how to do it on your own.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, man.
So there we go. Cool. Benchmark month.
Benchmark month.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Like I said, it's a great way. It's a great test. Kind of learn some things about yourself going into the open, or even just going into the new year and knowing you're going to come back around. It could be benchmark again next December. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be benchmark again June.
I think it'll be.
Like it'll be.
I'm curious if they will try to implement an RX month. I'm interested to see how they handle the open month, the open focus month, and if what I've got in my mind for those who join the mini camp, each week there will be a focus. We'll have a video come out. You had the video come out earlier this week explaining it.
Yeah.
But each week there will be sort of a focus video. I don't know exactly what each week will be. I have a general, 12 years of sort of things that best prepare people.
Also, what is the mob looking for?
Exactly. Like for the individuals who start to be the folks who are going to come all
Bought
6
in,
weeks.
essentially.
6 weeks. And then for those who are like, oh, but guess what? We're going to hit structure, movement, approach. Like that's it. Like that's sort of the framework. And structure, I mean like AMRAPs, time, increasing time domains, task priority, time priority, like standard open structure. There are 7 standard movements generally that have been in all 12 opens. There are 4 of them that are the most common. There's 3 more, and then there's like a handful of other ones that have sprinkled in.
Yeah.
We're going to try and hit those 7 across the 6 weeks. And then there's some like, okay, well, how do I approach each week and each individual open workout? It's only 3 weeks this year. We could probably expect 4 to 5 scored events across those 3 weeks. So I'll be curious to see if main site programming.
I'm curious to see what the workouts look like compared to the last 6 months.
Yeah. Because they're not talking with Dave Castro, but they're all of the same mindset, which is our mindset as well. Yeah. So this has been ridiculously fun. Not that Woo-Wo wasn't fun as well. There's just a different level of synchronicity between this and sort of what I've seen come across main site for the last 4 or 5 months. So anyway, cool. There you go.
There we go.
My gratitude is for bigger batteries. Eric got us a new battery for the blower. No, you gotta dispose of it correctly.
No, this thing still works. It's just not. It's not the one.
I mean, throw it in the dumpster, right? That's how you dispose of batteries correctly.
Oh, you throw them in the creek.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
The creek they just dissolve. The creek eats them. They're down there with a plate.
That was funny.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't know. I do have I'm super grateful for my boys, which I gave them that super love fest. Ton of fun on a trip to Florida with them.
Yeah.
Awesome to watch them continue to just be phenomenal human beings. And despite my attempts despite my attempts to try and screw them up horribly. So there you go.
Yeah. Mine is I don't know. Mine's Thanksgiving and family. I love Thanksgiving. I say all the time. I love Thanksgiving is like Christmas to me without the sometimes the obligation or feeling that you are obligated to buy presents.
Feeling of commercialism on it. Yeah, there's no commercialism really.
Like just show up, eat food, hang out. And it was a great time. Yeah, just being with family. So yeah, love Thanksgiving.
Great topic, dude.
But I love this time of year too.
Thanks.
Now I'm in it. But yeah, this is fun.
Great gratitude.
Cool. We'll check in a couple weeks on these benchmarks.
Yeah.
See how everyone's feeling. Yeah. Maybe people have some questions too. We can
feel free. I saw somebody put on the podcast that you could call in with voicemails.
Oh, I like this idea.
You did on last week's.
Oh, that's right.
You put it on there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like
that. Feels like years ago.
You cracked me up, man. People, welcome to the internet. People watching people watch.
Watching people watch people watch people
do fitness badly.
Oh my God.
That was awesome. It was awesome.
Gosh. Awesome. All right, cool.
All right. We will see you
on the creek.